server in JSON server folder. Open the CMD. In JSON server folder, open the CMD. Okay, CMD. Inside that, first we have to install the JSON server using JSON-server space, not JSON server, npm install. npm npm install. npm install npm install minus g space json minus server. npm install minus g json minus server. npm install minus g json minus server. Enter. System should connect with internet. npm install minus g json minus server. It is going to install a server. Server name is called JSON server. It is going to install a server. Server name is called JSON server. npm install minus g json minus server. npm install json minus server. Installation done. No problem. In the last, it will say this many packages are installed. You see any message like this? This many packages install something. On this side. It's going on, no? Still going on. Progress bar is going on. Once it will complete, then Okay, then we're going on. It says this many package is updated, install something. Okay, only few people have tried. Okay, next after that, come to your VS Code, and from VS Code go to the file, and you have option called add folder to workspace. Add folder to workspace. You will select that JSON server folder. Select the JSON server folder and add. Select the JSON server folder and add. So one more folder will get added. One is called API, another one is called JSON server. Okay, next after this, hope your folder is loaded. You go on to the file, there is an option called add folder to workspace. From here you selected the folder called JSON server, you click on add. Your folder is added here. Now under the JSON server, you will create a file data.json. Data.json. Okay, data.json. Now come to the data.json and curly bracket open close. Right inside a property called user list colon square bracket book list as a array city or maybe company list as array. So we created the three property, and all these three properties are going to be have like an array. It will hold the data multiple, and that will be element wise in the form of array. You can do the right click and select the format document. Do the right click and select the format document. It will get rearranged. It will get rearranged. Next, after this, you can see after last element, there is no place of comma. We have not added any comma in the last. So no comma after the last element. That is normal fundamental. Now you will do like, you will go to the user list and again in the form of property and value, like how we have seen array of object, we will add some element here. The first element is id, value 1. Second element is a name, any name. Second property called age. Next property called education, edu. This is for one user. You will add 3-4 times. Change the ID. Something we can add and arrange that value properly. Now again do the right click and format the document. Do the right click and select format document. It will get arranged like this. Right click and select format document. Properly it will get arranged. Array of object. So inside the user list, we added total 4 users. Now once we start the JSON server, this user list will convert into API. Book list will convert into API. Company list will convert into API. Book list will give us 4 records. User list, not a book list, user list. 4 record it will give. Book list and company list will be complete empty. Okay. So if you have added, data is organized. Let me share you this code. If any single comma is extra, it will throw the error. Okay. Next, come to your CMD. The CMD you have opened under the JSON server folder. In that CMD, we need to write next. We have to start that JSON server. So for that command, you have JSON-server. Now you are going to convert your PC into 2 parts, backend and frontend. JavaScript will work like a frontend and the JSON server will work like a backend. Okay. So now, how to start that server? JSON-server space minus minus watch. Okay, space your file name, that is data.json. You can see proper spacing you have to give, else it will give bad result. Okay, data.json. Again, on which port number you want to run this backend. So for that we have to write minus minus port space, let's keep 4-digit 1234. JSON minus server space minus minus was data.json minus minus port 1234. Port 1234. Anything 4-digit. Every server will have their own port number. Now you are running this file now through live server. So see the port number 5500. Similar way, when you run the Gmail have a port number. When you use your company email account, that email account will also run on a port number. Okay, MySQL run on the port number. Skype run have a port. Okay, so every server will have an identification number saying like this port is reserved for me. So anyone can call me on this port number. Similar way, JSON server you are starting, it will have their own port number, and that port number will get decided by us. And how to assign the port number in the last. By default, if you not write port number, it will go on 3000 port number. Okay. So later your React will run by default on 3000 port number. Both will become conflict. So that this you can change the port number manually, whichever you want, 4-digit number, anything. Okay. You can take a photo also in mobile of that command, how to install and how to start. It will be helpful for the future when we require, we can use it. Enter. Now you will see below 4 URL will be listed. 4 URL will be listed below. Localhost colon 1234/user list, book list as well as company list. Something like this. Let me know in the chat also.
Even command call. So I'm getting this error. JSON server is not recognized as
JSON server is not installed. JSON minus server. It is not installed.
I tried closed it.
No, closing is not install again.
NPM.
npm install -g JSON minus server. Start now. G command was not added. G was not added maybe. G represent globally. G represent globally. Like now, suppose in this folder you install using the G command -g we are given while installation. On desktop also you can create a folder API1. Inside you can create a file data.json or any .json. In that you can put the JSON content and start the server. That happening what globally. If you will not do -g, that meaning installation happen only within the folder. Okay, so whenever you want to start the server, you have to come to this particular folder. There you have to create the file, and there only you can start the server. It will not recognize outside. -g represent globally. Once it's installed in the system, throughout system anywhere in a drive, we can create a folder and do the functionality. Okay, so this is look like this. Now we can run this URL. Okay, so directly come to your browser and open the tab. In that you write localhost 3000. Localhost colon not 3000. 1234 is the port number. Localhost colon 1234. Don't search that in Google. We have to type in URL. Localhost colon 3 colon 1234. Enter. Localhost colon 1234 and enter. Something like this. It is saying like JSON server is running and it is available on resources, means your API is available on this URL. User list, book list as well as company list. User list has 4 resource, 4 element. User book list nothing, as well as company list also nothing. And you can communicate with these resources using get method, post method, put method, patch method, delete method as well as option method. Okay, so this becomes a backend. Now from the React as a front end or from JavaScript as a front end, you can get means you can fetch the data. Post means you can send the data. Put means you can update the data. Patch means you can update respective. Delete means delete a record. Options is by default. Whenever request will go, by default request will go the option only to verify resources exist or not. When you send a request to get the data, right? So what will happen before sending the actual request? One false request will go and check whether the URL is exist or not. Okay. Now click on that user list and see how many records are showing. Total 4 records will be there. 0 is Ganesh, 1 is particular, 2 is particular, 3 is particular. I'm using Mozilla. So in Mozilla, by default, it should come like this. You will have some feature from the Mozilla. Some extension may be installed in my system, because of that is showing like this. You can also try in Mozilla. It should look like this. Okay. So look like this. User is running. Now the Ajax, what functionality we have written in that Ajax, we will call this URL user list. Okay, in Ajax we'll have a link where we will call the user list. Now user list, not Ajax, API folder. In API folder, we have implemented something. There we will call again in a tab called user list. User list will give the data in the form of JSON. Then JavaScript has to convert into array and then run the loop and display inside the digits. Let's come to your index file. Here we have made one link called, so look like that live server was stopped and need to restart again. Okay, so this all was working properly. Next, we will add one more link here that will get the data from that folder. Which URL? From this URL. So come to the index.html. In index.html file, first create a button. Inside that button, you will write call customer list, and on click call a function called get customer. In that get customer, we will be calling the URL API from our JSON server. The JSON server you have set up now. From there, we'll call the URL. There we'll send the request. Okay, get customer function. Now come up, write a function called get customer. Function get customer. Get customer. Inside the get customer, we will create one first variable called temp variable equal to empty. Var replace with the let. Next, come down and write call fetch function. Under fetch function, you will call that URL. Which URL? User list. We have made today, that was giving you the data in the form of JSON. This URL. This URL will give here now. Okay, so backend is running on 1234 port number. It has a resource. Resource URL is called user list. Once we call that, it will give us the data in the form of JSON. We'll follow here, then promise method, and inside that you will capture under the response variable. This response variable will not be, it will hold like your, you can say, garbage data. It will not hold the actual data. So from the garbage data, we have to filter it back and we need to convert into JSON object using this function response.json. Now your data is converted into JSON object. Data is converted into JSON object. JSON object again you cannot run the for loop. So from JSON object, the second then function will give you the data in the form of array. Second promise function will apply then and it will give us the data array. Data in the form of array. It's a variable name, it can be anything. Data in the form of array and do a alert here first. Data array dot length. Data array dot length. Data array dot length.
So what is the resource?
Where is the resource?
You told while writing user list, right? It's getting to fetch the resource.
The resource is nothing but the URL. It was written in the JSON server page where the list of APIs are exist, they mark as a resource. That is not any specific word. Check now, what is the length? Length, how many length? Button click. You should run through live server. Which file? Index file. Direct, if you run, it will not give anything. Okay, next, after that, you can see it will say the total how many? 4. Total number of element are 4. Not working for me. Okay. So I have not written everything very fast speed. I've guided you step by step. I am not able to do this. There is a mistake from your side. I sent you file, you can use that to file. I'll send you complete API folder itself. API folder is sent, you can use that. JSON server folder also I'll send it.
For me also, it's very deeper. So I actually run without debugging.
Don't run like that, no? Close that control panel.
Because it's getting the error console.
You can't run like that.
Yeah.
Look at here. We are running through live server. Do right click, select option for live server. Then now select no, again it will come back. Open with live server. Click on customer. Another one user. Stop, close it. That open that URL. JSON server URL. Refresh once. Now copy this URL.
Copy.
Come there. Close this panel. Replace that URL. Yes. Now response.json you did. Then data array.lv. Data array. Okay. If now this is now you are communicating from the front end to back end, so you cannot run directly. Okay. API is designed itself to communicate between two servers. API is not designed to communicate HTML to JavaScript and JavaScript to other file. It is designed to communicate between two servers. So now your server is JSON server instead of Java or Python or .NET, as well as the front end also has to run on a server only. Then only the communication will happen. Else it will give you the error for cross origin is not allowed. Cross origin not allowed means one is running on server, another one is running without client. So between client to server, communication will be refused by the server. Server will ignore that request. That time the message will come called as a cross origin is not allowed by the server. Where you are sending the request, that server is not able to identify you. Who are you? So server has refused giving the data. So that will call it a cross origin is not supported. Cross origin is not working something like that. So in that case, this will help. What will help? If both the party is running on the server, this is your client is running on the server and server is also running on the server. Correct? Now both will trust to each other and the data exchange will happen. Okay. If the Node.js API, then in that we have to write something else. In Node.js, we have to write cross origin allow through some kind of packages are there. We need to install and we need to allow. So if any request come, then it will be able to handle. Even we can block the unusual request. Okay, like suppose your backend will get the request from your website. So what is the URL of your website? What is the IP address of that website? That particular IP will give to the Node.js and saying like you allow this IP address only. Don't allow to other IP address. So if any other IP or other domain will hit the request, the server will say, I don't know, sorry, who are you? I don't have your any permission with me. So those all also are the part of backend only. Okay. Now you are getting the length. How many? 4. Come to the code again. Now under the division API data we have written API data. Under that API data, we have to send the data in the form of proper HTML So the division we have created temp, right? Right inside a div, open the div, give ID equal to customer, and that customer not close there. Division is open. Division will be closed after the loop. So right here data array dot map. Inside we can write call customer comma index. Customer comma index. Come down. The division is open in the beginning. Division name is called temp. It's available under the temp. So temp plus equal to temp plus equal to, you will keep inside it another division, and again you will close this division. You will close this division. Close the division. So this map will run maybe 10 times, maybe 5 times, maybe 4 times, depending on length of array. If the array is 20 records, array having the 20 records, so loop will run total 20 times. Every time it will create a division and close the division. And for this division, give class equal to something my customer. Class equal to my customer. Class equal to my customer. Now, as soon as the map function will get end, we require to close the outer division also. You can see still outer division is not closed. And inside the outer division only this division you are creating. Before printing the data, you must close the temp plus equal to the outer division that you have, that is in the beginning right here. Close the outer div. Close the outer div. Close the outer div. Now after that, from the user list API, what are the property will come? You can have a look. The property will come that will be called as ID, name, age, and edu. ID, name, age, and edu. So entire data from that API, all the 4 records has come and stored under the data array. Now in data array there is a 4 customer details, and every customer have ID, name, city, and ID, name, and something. What is ID, name, age, and education. So map function will help you to get one customer details from the data array and pass into this variable that is called customer. From data array, one customer will go to where? One customer details will go to the customer. So under the customer you will find name, ID, then after that mobile, not mobile, age, and education. 4 property we can find from the particular array. your inner div is already closed. Line number, where is the outer div standing? What is this line? Line number 66. Can you read the line number 66? Quick reply, yes, no. And where is the close of the line number 66? You are talking about 72. So one division open here, close here. Where is the closing of division 66? 66? No. Someone called Rehana Mandal is asking, where is the closing of this line number? I think during the class we are going somewhere else also. Before writing this line, I have to speak why I am writing this line. Correct or not? Make your stable internet and continue classes. Okay, don't go anywhere in between. Okay, let's go next. Now after this, okay, let me write here. Closing the close the outer div that start at line number 66. Now you can read properly. Close the outer div that start at line number 66. Okay, come next. Next, inside this division, you have to generate the something. Data plus equal to, open the H2 or maybe H3. Under H3, you do the customer.name that is coming from that H3, that is coming from that JSON server. Close the H3. Now after this, so name will come in H3. Must be temp we can use here. Temp plus equal to okay. So remaining you can convert into p tag. One you keep H3, remaining you convert into p or div your wish. Customer.name, customer.age, customer dot, what is next? Education. Name, age, education. Name, age, education, and ID is also there. Name, age, education dot ID. Name, age, education, and ID. Next, once this loop will get over, then after that you will write here document dot get element by ID. Which ID? The ID is called you can look into the bottom section. Which ID we have created? API data. Under the API data, using inner HTML, you will send that temp variable. So inside one division, that is ID as a customer, multiple division you are creating. Division name is, division class is my customer. So outer division will generate one time, will close in the last before printing, whereas inner division will be generating total n number of time. How many element you have inside the array, that many time it will generate. Okay, right. Let's check now whether data is listing or not. So listing like this. We have to write some CSS to make a proper grid or something. So first check once your data is listed. Same way, assume like if this data come from the backend, is now also coming from the backend, but it's coming from the mock API. It's coming from the fake API. Okay. If you will get the data from the backend from the live server, this URL will be different. This URL will be different. Remaining below reading the data, converting to JSON, running the map, constructing the HTML, applying the different classes of CSS. Okay, that all will be there, but the structure will remain same. Okay, while getting the data from database, you cannot fetch. JavaScript has no feature to come fetch from the database. To fetch from database, you have to use other technology. Like using Node.js, you can fetch from database. Node.js will convert into JSON. Node.js will fetch from database. After fetching from database, it will convert into JSON. And that JSON data will be given to whom? React. Now the Node.js will work on run on a particular port number. Node.js, once you compile the node file, it will have a port number. On that port, it will start. When it will start, then Node.js will deal with the database. Give me the data. Database will give the data in the form of array. To whom? Node.js. From database, from node request will go to database. Database will give in the form of array. To whom? Node. Now node cannot send the array data to front end. Node will convert into JSON. And that JSON data will be dispatched to the front end. Now Node.js will give a URL. Okay, xyz.com/particular user list. On that user list, node is running. Node will deal with the database, get the data, convert into JSON. Now that data will be coming to the front end in the form of JSON. Now front end will capture through the promise function after convert into JSON object, then convert into array object, and after that run the map function, run the for each, run the do, anything whatever you want. So first check this data is coming. Data is coming. Okay. Now let me show you. I have multiple node files. I'll guide you how that work. Okay. So I went here. I have one file called API. 2 days before I have created some other people. Look in this. There is some static data also. You can see here. What is the URL? User list. And it will run on this port number. Here is a port number called 1111. So URL will be something like this. URL will be something like this. URL, suppose I want to call this URL, it will be like this. Localhost 1111, and what is the, this is called as a city list. So when anyone will call this node file, once it compile and call this URL, this particular option will get executed. Then it has an array. That array will convert into JSON. And then from here, what it will send? It will send the data in the form of JSON. Coming down, that is a static page, static API. When I come down, look at here. Here, some query is written. URL is called same port number, but the URL is different called product list. Now, when the request will come here, one SQL will execute. This SQL will get the data from the database. That will come under this rows variable. in the form of array. And after that, this rows array, you can see here, data converted from array to JSON. So I'm converting here from where to where? Array to JSON, because the database has given the data in the form of array. Based on query, suppose 100 records match. So 100 record will come name, mobile, city, pin code, so many things in the form of array of object. Array of object is converting into JSON, because the node is a different platform and the JavaScript is a different platform. Right? Node is running in the backend and the JavaScript is running on the front end. Node is running in the server, that is in the USA, and the front is running in the user computer, that is in the Bangalore. Now both are in different platform. Now the data of backend from one platform, it has to transfer to the another platform through the network. So network will not allow to send the data in the form of array, security reason. So you have to convert into JSON. After converting into JSON, you have to send that. Where? Who has requested to this URL? They will capture it. How we are capturing here? Similar way, request will go to the backend, data will come, capture, JSON convert into JSON object, then convert into array object, and after that, run the loop and get the data and display inside this. Okay, that's how it works. If it is a PHP URL, if assume the backend is PHP, query will remain same. PHP will have their own syntax to get the data from array and convert into JSON and give to the front end. Java will have their own method, okay, to get the data from your database and convert into JSON. Python will have their own method to get the data from database and convert into JSON. So at last, every backend language is going to give the data in the form of JSON. Syntax will be different according to technology. Okay, that JSON data will be handed over to whom? Front end. Now the front end people will be responsible to capture the data in the form of JSON, convert into array, and after that do entire stuff. Okay, so data came from the backend, you converted into array, from array you converted into now HTML. HTML we are converting because user cannot read your JSON, user cannot read the array, user want a proper output. For that HTML is responsible, designing part CSS is responsible. Okay. Write CSS quickly for this, for customer. We have a file somewhere. We have a file called no CSS file. Okay, CSS we have not written. In the same file we are written in the beginning, right? Okay. So write has customer no customer is ID. Customer is ID. Okay, so for that now you write display just as a grid. Display as a grid. Display as a grid. And then grid column count. Grid template columns. You can keep auto 4 times. Auto, 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 and auto 4 times. So 4 customer will come in one line. 4 column it will create. Okay. Next we have class called my customer. My customer. Next we have class called my customer. That my customer class. My customer class will have some margin also. Assume 20-30 pixel. 30 pixel. It will have little padding also. 20-30 pixel. And it will have some kind of, you can write called box shadow. or instead of box shadow, you can write border hyphen top 5px solid blue color, or write border hyphen bottom 5px solid purple color. This design you have written for which one? Individual customer. Margin something between two, padding something, outside margin 30 pixel, inside margin 30 pixel, border top. The box will create in that border on the top will be 5 pixel, border in the bottom will be 5 pixel. Both the side border will be solid style, upper border blue color, border bottom purple color. Or border bottom I think you can remove. Let it be upper border only. Upper border will be okay. Border top. Border hyphen top 5 pixel. Okay, apply one more property that is called box shadow. Box hyphen shadow 0px from left 0 pixel, from top 0 pixel. If left is 0, right also will be 0, bottom also will be 0. And then 5 pixel 5px gray color or maybe blue color. Blue will look odd. Orange you can get or any color your wish. So shadow will get apply of 5 pixel. Shadow will get apply of 5 pixel. Something like this. So this data appear from where? This data came from the JSON server. In that JSON server, I have created 3 URL. One is called user list, one is company list, and one more is there. Right? 3 are there, no? One we have implemented here. Remaining 2 is the homework for you. You need to add some field in that and display inside the page after creating 2 more links. In the JSON server, we have 2 more, book list as well as company list. So book will have name, price, quantity. ID is compulsory everywhere. Company will have name, city, and employee. Okay, name, city, total employee, total EMP. So those way you can implement it. See, for JavaScript developer, for the front-end developer, okay, people who work on the front-end technology, nowadays in the market, API is the heartbeat completely. For JavaScript developer, for React developer, okay, for the Vue.js developer, for jQuery developer. If you have no skill on implementation of API, you are a static resource. You are not a dynamic resource. You can create a static application. You cannot make the dynamic application, right? The implementation of fetch method, understanding of this sending and receiving the data is compulsory. Okay. Okay, rotate. Now hope your design look like this. Okay. We required edit button as well as delete button as well as we'll create another page how to add the new record. Those data you have added, it was static. We added manually and we listed it. So we understood how to list the data. Okay, now your homework will be 2 more APIs there. Add some fixed value and display that. So you will clear in how to list the data. Next, tomorrow I'll guide you how to add new record. Not go to the file and add manually. Through program. We'll create a page. In that we'll take the username, we'll take their education, we'll take their what we have filled there. Those input will take from user, and after that we will understand how to post the data. Means how to post the data to backend. Now your technique is JSON server. You are not worrying on the JSON part. You are learning only which one? JavaScript front end part. When you work with the Java API, Python API, the JavaScript code will be remain same. The backend people will change their logic. Okay, your front end task code will remain same. Okay, so we will learn how to post the data, and after posting, we'll learn how to delete the data from where? From the resource that is your URL. Okay, and again, if saving is done, listing is done, deleting is done, then we'll learn the complicated part how to edit the data. Okay, so it will become as a complete CRUD operation. C for create, R for read, U for update, and D for delete. Okay, using JavaScript as well as backend. If you know any backend language, like suppose you know the Java, you know Python, JavaScript will be remain same. Now you need to learn, you need to implement how to handle the input and output in the backend. Okay, that you have to do your own. Okay, because you're not learning the Node.js, so I teach you Node.js. Node.js, if you're learning also, it will come after front end. Okay, once we learn the Node.js, that time we learn okay how to create the API and how to post. By that time, the JavaScript skill will be ready. You have to spend the time on Node part. Okay. Okay, so hope your design looks similar, right? You're not given the width. This is the problem. Which one? This thing. So show me the CSS. The division is not closed. It is showing division is not closed. Okay. In the function, get customer function we have written. Inside that, division or paragraph is not closed. Okay. So this D will start here, ID equal to customer. This D can here, inheritable D will send D class customer. Then H3 open float, P open float, SP open float, SP open float. Right, okay. This look so many CSS. Grade template columns auto full time. This is okay. Replace one static. It is current folder. No, that is not a problem. Anyone need file? Index file, I'll share you in the chat. Index file, I will share you in the chat. That is 7M JavaScript API. Index file is the main file. It's sent in chat. You can have a look. Then see you tomorrow.